Good morning. I welcome you on behalf of School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Dear learner, on the previous lecture we have discussed about the DC motor. Under that particular topic we have discussed construction and working principle of DC motor. Then we have discussed what is the importance of the back EMF of DC motor. Then we have discussed the torque equation of the DC motor. So in particular session we are going to discuss types of the DC motor. Then we will discuss the different characteristic of DC motor, and after that we will discuss what are the different applications of the DC motor. So first of all we are going to discuss type of DC motor. So it is just like a DC generator. So as we have discussed that there are different type of DC generator like separately excited DC generator, then self-excited DC generator. So on the same basis the DC motor can also be classified as separately excited DC motor. What is the mean of separately excited DC motor? That means field binding of DC motor will be excited by the separated source or the different source. Then second type of DC motor that comes, that is called self-excited DC motor. So as name is indicating, that means field binding, or you can say the field flux will be excited by the self source, and this self-excited DC motor can again be classified as shunt bound DC motor. Shunt bound DC motor means what? That means field binding of DC motor is connected across the armature, then it will be called shunt bound DC motor. And under the self-excited DC motor another category comes, that is called series bound DC motor. So as name is indicating, series bound DC motor means the field binding of DC motor is connected in series with the armature, that will be called series bound DC motor. Then third type of motor under self-excited DC motor is called compound bound DC motor. So as name is indicating, compound. So compound means what? That means it will have series binding as well as shunt field binding. And on the basis of this compound bound DC motor can again be classified as long shunt compound DC motor and short shunt compound DC motor. So first we are going to discuss separately excited DC motor. So here you can see that this one is a armature of the DC motor, and this one is a supplied voltage. It is denoted by the terminal voltage V, and here you can see that this one is a field binding of the DC motor, and this field is excited by the separate source. You can say because this is a DC motor, that means this field will be excited by the DC supply. So here it may be the battery or it may be the DC generator, and here you can see this is a variable field. That means with variation of this field binding you can vary the excitation, or you can say you can change the value of the field current, right? So here you can see that in case of separately excited DC motor, here you can observe that this armature current is equal to the load current. And what is the back EMF? Back EMF is EV and armature resistance is RA. If you apply KVL in this particular equation, so you can write like minus to plus is V, plus that is V minus IA into RA is equal to 0. Is equal to EV, that is back EMF, or you can say you can write V minus IA RA minus EV is equal to 0, or you can write EV equal to B minus IA RA. So what is the value of back EMF? Value of back EMF is EV equal to B plus B minus IA RA, where V is the applied voltage, or you can say terminal voltage, that is V, it is a DC voltage, and RA is a armature resistance, IA is a armature current. So if you are considering here, there, because you can see that there is a two brushes on the armature, one brush is this one, another brush is this one. So this brush will have also some resistance, or you can say there will be some voltage drop across these brushes. If you say the voltage drop across this brush is V suffix V, small v. So there is a two brush, so total voltage across brush is equal to what? 2 into V suffix V. So final expression for the back EMF you can write EV equal to V minus IARA minus 2 V suffix V, where V suffix V is what? That is the voltage drop across brush. Now because we are talking about the DC motor, so as you know, that means DC motor you are getting some mechanical power with the help of this DC motor. And what is the value of this mechanical power developed by this DC motor? This mechanical power developed by this DC motor, if you are denoting it by P suffix M, so it is equal to the back EMF, that is EB multiplied by the armature current. So you can see PM is equal to EV into IA. Now what is the power drawn from the supply means? That means how much power you are giving to this DC motor. So it is equal to what? This supply voltage multiplied by this load current, or you can say this load current is equal to IL. So power drawn from supply means is equal to V into IL. Now we are going to discuss about the shunt motor. So as name is indicating shunt or you can say parallel motor. So on the basis of the field binding, this motor is classified whether it is series motor or shunt motor. So in case of shunt motor, the field binding is connected across the armature, right? So here you can observe that what is the value of this shunt field current ISH, or you can say field current. So value of this ISH is equal to what? You can observe here what is the voltage across this field binding. Voltage across field binding is V, that is a supplied voltage V. So ISH is equal to what? V upon RSH, where RSH is field binding of the shunt motor. Now here you can observe that this load current is equal to what? This load current is equal to IA plus ISH, or you can say it is a load current is equal to armature current plus shunt current. And what is the value of back EMF? Value of back EMF is again it is equal to EB equal to V minus IARA. If you are considering the voltage drop across the brush, then equation of the back EMF is equal to what? EB equal to V minus IARA minus 2 V suffix V. Now again you have to find out what is the mechanical power developed by this shunt motor. So mechanical power developed by this shunt motor PM is equal to what? This power input. What is the power input? Power input is what? V into IL minus losses in the armature and shunt field. So losses in the shunt field is equal to what? Voltage multiplied by current, that is V into ISH, and losses in armature resistance is equal to what? IA square into RA. Now here you can take this V as a common. So if you are taking V as a common, so you can write V bracket IL minus ISH minus IA square into RA. Now here you can observe what is the value of this IL minus ISH. Here you can see that IL is equal to IA plus ISH. That means IA is equal to what? IL minus ISH. So this IL minus ISH can be replaced as armature current IA. So you can write this value is equal to V into IA, and this is IA square into RA. Again you can take this armature current IA as a common from these two factors. So it can be written as IA bracket V minus IARA. What is the value of this V minus IARA? Value of this V minus IARA is nothing but it is a back EMF EV. So you can replace this V minus IARA as a EV. So mechanical power developed from the shunt motor can be written as EV into IA. So this mechanical power is EV into IA, where EV is V minus IARA. Now we are going to discuss about the series motor. So here you can see in case of series motor, the field binding is connected in series with the armature. That means in this case the load current is equal to IAC, or you can say field current IF or equal to IA. That means all these three current are the same current. IA is equal to IAC is equal to IL. Now you have to write the equation for the back EMF. So equation of back EMF is equal to what? EV is equal to V minus IARA. Here you can see EV equal to V minus IARA minus ISERAC, or you can understand in reverse of that. You can write V minus ISERAC minus IARA is equal to EV. So now if you are considering the voltage drop across the brush, that is V suffix V, then you can write the equation of back EMF EV equal to V minus IA multiplied by RA plus RAC minus 2 multiplied by V suffix V, where this V suffix V is the voltage drop across brush. Again, you have to find out what is the mechanical power developed by this DC series motor. So it is, again you can write power input minus losses in the armature and series field winding. So you can write PM equal to what? V into IL minus IAC square into RAC. That means losses occurs during across this field winding minus IA square into RA. So you can write this IL is equal to what? IL is equal to IA. So you can write V into IA. Here you can take ISC is equal to IA. So you can write IA square is common in these two terms. So you can write IA square multiplied by RA plus RAC. Again here you can observe there is a two term. One is this V into IA, another is IA square into RA plus RAC. So this IA is common in these two terms. So you can take IA as a common. Then you can write IA multiplied by V minus IA multiplied RA plus RAC, which is equal to EV into IA. So mechanical power developed in DC series motor PM is equal to EV into IA. Now we are going to discuss about the compound motor. As I already told you that compound motor can again be classified as long shunt compound motor and short shunt compound motor. So first we are going to discuss long shunt compound motor. In case of long shunt compound motor, the shunt field winding is connected in parallel with the combination of both the armature and series field winding. Here you can see that this is a shunt field winding and it is connected across this armature and series field winding. So that's why it is called long shunt compound motor. So this is applied voltage V. This current IL can be written as IL is equal to IAC plus ISH, or in case of this long shunt compound motor IAC is equal to IA. So you can write IL is equal to IA plus ISH. So what is the value of this shunt field current? Value of shunt field current can be calculated as ISH is equal to what? The voltage across this shunt field winding is what? That is V. So you can write ISH is equal to V upon RSH. Now you have to find out the series field current. So series field current is nothing but it is a armature current, and this is equal to what? This is equal to IL minus ISH, or you can say IL is equal to ISH plus IA. So you can write IA is equal to IL minus ISH, or you can say ISC is equal to IA is equal to IL minus ISH. Now you have to find out the value of back EMF. So this back EMF EV can be written as V minus IARA minus ISE into RAC, where this IAC is a field current across series field winding, and this IA is a armature current. So here you can write this IAC is equal to IA, because this IA is equal to what? IAC. So you can write EV minus IARA minus IA into RAC. Now here IA is common. So you can write EV minus IA multiplied by RA plus RAC. If you are considering the voltage drop across brush, then you can write the equation for the back EMF EV equal to V minus IA multiplied by RA plus RAC minus 2 V suffix V, where this V suffix V is what? This is a voltage drop across brush. So what is the mechanical power developed by this long shunt compound motor? It can be written as mechanical power developed from the long shunt compound motor is equal to EV into IA, where EV is what? EV is nothing but it is a back EMF. Now if you are interested to calculate how much power is being given to this a long shunt compound motor. So this is can be written as V into IL, where V is a supplied voltage and IL is a load current. Now the second type of compound motor is basically called short shunt compound motor. So in case of short shunt compound motor, the shunt field binding is connected in parallel with only the armature. Here, unlike long shunt compound motor, the shunt field winding was connected across armature and series field winding, but in case of short shunt compound motor, the shunt field winding is connected across armature only. So here you can say, in case of short shunt compound motor, this load current is equal to field current, series field current, that means IL is equal to ISE. Now you want to calculate the what is the value of this shunt field current. So it can be written as V minus IL, this V minus voltage drop across this series field winding. So how much voltage you are getting at this point? So at this point the voltage is what? V minus IL into RAC. So this is a voltage across this this shunt field winding. So ISH is equal to V minus IL RAC upon RSH. In reverse of this, you can also write the shunt field current ISH is equal to EB. EB is this back EMF plus IARA upon RSH. Now, what is the value of this armature current IA? Value of this armature current IA is equal to IL, that is a load current, minus ISH, that is a shunt field current, and back EMF can be calculated as EG, or you can say EB. It is not EG, it is a EB. This back EMF EB can be written as B minus IARA minus IL into RAC. Again, if you are considering the voltage drop across brush, then you can write back EMF EB is equal to V minus IARA minus IL RAC minus 2 multiplied by V suffix V, where V suffix V is the voltage drop across brush. Again, if you are interested to calculate what is the mechanical power developed by this short shunt compound motor, so mechanical power developed by this short shunt compound motor can be written as EB into IA, where EB is what? EB is nothing but it is a back EMF, and power drawn from the input, or you can say how much power is being given to this short shunt compound motor, it can be written as supply voltage V multiplied by load current, that is IL. Now this compound motor can again be classified, or it can be subdivided as cumulative compound motor and differential compound motor. So as name is indicating, cumulative compound motor means what? That means because in compound motor there is a two type of fluxes are being produced. One is due to the series field binding and another is due to the shunt field binding. So as name is indicating, cumulative means it is supporting each other. So you can say if flux produced by the shunt field binding is phi SH and flux produced by series field binding is phi SE, then you can write resultant flux in case of cumulative compound motor phi R is equal to phi SH plus phi SE. That means in case of cumulative compound motor, both the flux are supporting each other. But in case of differential compound motor, what is happening? These two flux are opposing each other. So in case of differential compound motor, you can write resultant flux phi R is equal to phi SH minus phi SE. Here we are assuming that flux produced by the shunt field binding is more than the series field binding. That's why we are writing phi R is equal to phi SH minus phi SE. Now we are going to discuss the characteristic of the DC motor. So why these characteristics are drawn? To determine the performance and stability of any DC motor, characteristics are drawn, and there are different type of characteristics that we have to study, and this characteristic can be classified as speed characteristic, electrical characteristic, mechanical characteristic. And speed characteristic is basically if we are drawing or the characteristic between speed and armature current, then it will be called speed characteristic. If you are drawing the graph between torque and armature current, then you can say this characteristic is called electrical characteristic. If we are observing the performance with respect torque with respect to speed, then we will say it is a mechanical characteristic. So there is three type of characteristic that we have to understand here. First is speed characteristic, or you can say speed armature current characteristic. Second one is electrical characteristic, that is called torque armature current characteristic. And third one is mechanical characteristic, that is called torque speed characteristic. So one by one we will discuss all these three characteristics for DC series motor, DC shunt motor and compound motor. So for drawing the characteristic and what will be the observation and how you can draw the characteristic, we have to remember this formula, which are very important if you are going to discuss the characteristic. So for the any motor, you know that you can write the armature current is equal to what? V minus EB upon RA, right? So armature current is what? This V minus EB, where V is the applied voltage and EB is a back EMF and RA is the armature resistance. Second formula that you have to keep in your mind, that is called EB is directly proportional to N into phi, where N is what? N is the speed of the motor. And from where this expression is coming, EB is equal to P phi N 60 upon Z upon A. So remaining terms are the constant, and which one is the variable terms, that is the speed and flux. So EB is directly proportional to the speed and flux of the DC motor, or you can say that this speed can be written as N is equal to EB upon phi, where this EB is a back EMF and phi is a flux. Third formula that we have to keep in your mind, that is torque is directly proportional to flux multiplied by armature current. And this expression we have already discussed in the previous lecture. What will be the torque equation of the DC motor? So you have to remember these three formula, that is IA is equal to V minus EB upon RA, N is directly proportional to EB upon phi, and torque is directly proportional to phi into IA. So first characteristic that we are going to discuss for the DC series motor, that is called speed characteristic, or you can say speed armature current characteristic. That means what will be the variation of the speed with respect to the armature current in case of DC series motor. So here you can observe that here the three formulas have been shown here. N is directly proportional to EB upon phi, as we have already discussed, and EB equal to B minus IA, because it is a series motor. So in case of series motor, equation of EB is equal to B minus IA multiplied by RA plus RAC, because both the binding, armature resistance and series field binding, is connected in series. That's why it is written EB is equal to B minus IA multiplied by RA plus RAC. And phi A is directly proportional to the armature current, because in case of DC series motor, all the field means series field binding is connected in series with the armature. So field current is equal to the armature current. So you can say the flux of DC series motor is directly proportional to the armature current. Here you can see this graph. So this one is a speed characteristic of DC series motor. Here you can see what is the variation of this speed with respect to the armature current. So under normal condition, this drop IA multiplied by RA plus RAC is negligible, because armature resistance is very less, and series field binding is also resistance of series field binding is very low, because it is connected in the series. If resistance of this value is high, then what will be happen? That means there will be a huge voltage drop in series field binding. So whatever the voltage you are applying across the armature of the DC motor, you will not get. That's why we have to keep in our mind that this resistance should be low. if this voltage resistance is low, that means whatever the voltage drop across this armature and series field winding, it is you can neglect it. So you can say this EB is constant, then you can write, because this IARA is negligible, so EB is constant, so you can write N is directly proportional to 1 upon phi, and you know this phi is directly proportional to the armature current. So you can say this speed is directly related to the armature current, or this speed is inversely proportional to the armature current. So as armature current will increase, that means speed will decrease. So due to this formula, you can see the shape of this is a hyperbola. So before magnetic saturation, the speed armature graph follows the hyperbolic path as shown in the figure. In this region, the speed decreases abruptly with the increase in load or armature current. So here you can see the variation of the speed with respect to the armature current. And what will happen after the magnetic saturation? Because after the magnetic saturation, this flux becomes constant. If this flux becomes constant, so there will be no variation in the speed. Here you can see after the saturation, this speed is not changing. So here you can see, understand by this formula, N is directly proportional to EB, which is directly proportional to V minus IA RA plus RAC. So before the saturation, the shape of this graph is a hyperbola, and after the saturation, the speed becomes constant because flux becomes constant. So therefore a series motor is never started on no load, and to start a series motor, mechanical load is put on it first and then it is started. Second characteristic that we are going to discuss, torque armature current characteristic, or you can say electrical characteristic for DC series motor. So as you know that torque is directly proportional to flux into armature current, and in case of series motor, before the magnetic saturation, this flux is directly proportional to IA. If this flux is directly proportional to IA, so you can say this torque is proportional to IA square. And after the saturation, this torque is directly proportional to IA, which will be the straight line. So here you can see this point A, you can see in this graph. This graph is basically torque armature current characteristic, or you can say electrical characteristic. So this OA is representing before the saturation, because before the saturation, this phi is proportional to IA. If phi is proportional to IA, that means torque is proportional to IA square. Right, and after the saturation, this flux becomes constant. That means this torque is basically straight line, because torque is directly proportional to IA. So after magnetic saturation, the flux phi becomes constant. Therefore, T is proportional to IA, and it is seen that before saturation, this T is proportional to IA square. So when load is applied to this motor at start, it takes large current and heavy torque is produced. That is, this DC series motor can be used where high starting torque is required. So this DC series motor can be used for the electric train also. It can be used in lift also. Now we are going to another characteristic that is called mechanical characteristic. So this mechanical characteristic is nothing but it is called torque speed characteristic. Here you can see the variation of the speed with respect to the torque. This characteristic is derived from the first two characteristics. At low value of load, that is armature current and torque are small, but speed is very high. So as the load increases, so IA and torque increases, but the speed decreases rapidly. So for increasing torque, speed decreases rapidly as shown in figure. So this is basically called speed torque characteristic, or you can say it is also called mechanical characteristic of DC motor. Now we are going to discuss the characteristic for the shunt motor. So in case of shunt motor, the shunt field winding is connected across the armature. So first characteristic that we are going to discuss, that is called speed armature characteristic. So as you know, the speed of any motor is directly proportional to EB and inversely proportional to phi. So here you can see this N is directly proportional to EB, and EB is equal to what? EB is nothing but it is a V minus IRA. So if armature drop IA RA is negligible, so speed of the motor will remain constant for all values of the load as shown by the line AV, because this N is directly proportional to V. So whatever the voltage you are applying to run this DC motor, that means this V is fixed. If this V is fixed, that means speed of the shunt motor is fixed. That's why it is denoted by AV. That means the speed of the shunt motor is constant. Now, as the armature current increases due to the increase of load, armature drop IARA increases and speed of the motor decreases slightly as shown by the straight line AC. Here you can observe this IA. So it is due to the some voltage drop across the armature. That's why this graph is coming as shown as AC. Since there is no appreciable changes in the speed of DC shunt motor from no load to full load, so it is considered to be as a constant speed motor. So that's why it is called shunt motor as a constant motor, because in case of shunt motor there is a less effect of the voltage drop. It is directly proportional to the supply voltage, and the supply voltage is fixed. That means speed is fixed. Next characteristic that we are going to discuss, that is called torque armature current, or you can say electrical characteristic. So as you know that torque is directly proportional to phi into Ia, and since flux is constant, so torque is directly proportional to Ia. So it is clear from characteristic curve that a large armature current is required at the start if machine is on heavy load. So shunt motor should never be started at no load. So here you can see that torque is directly proportional to Ia. So this is a basically this OP is representing the torque armature current characteristic, because it is showing the straight line, or you can say it is as Ia is increasing, torque is increasing. So this is a basically linear variation. Now next characteristic is basically called torque speed characteristic, or you can say mechanical characteristic. So here you can see that speed torque characteristic is derived from the first two characteristics. So when load torque increases, armature current increases, but speed decreases slightly. So as torque is increasing, there is a decrement in the speed of this DC shunt motor. Now we are going to discuss the characteristic of the compound motors. So as you know, there is a two type of compound motor, which is called differential compound motor and cumulative compound motor. So cumulative compound motor are the most common motor, and the characteristic of this motor lie between the shunt and series field motor. So here you can see that in case of speed armature characteristic, because N is inversely proportional to phi. So in case of cumulative compound motor, that means these two flux are supportive. That means value of flux is more. So if value of flux is more, that means speed will be less. So here you can see, so as flux is increasing, speed is decreasing. But in case of differential compound motor, the net flux is reducing, because phi r is equal to what? Phi sh minus phi se. That's why this speed is increasing. Similarly, you can understand the torque armature characteristic of compound motor, because torque is directly proportional to phi into Ia. That means torque depends on the flux and armature current. So in case of a cumulative compound motor, the value of flux is more, because both the flux are supporting. That means flux is increasing. So of course this torque is increasing. Here you can see, in case of differential compound motor, the flux is decreasing. That means torque is also decreasing. Now we are going to discuss the applications and selection of the DC motor. So first motor is basically called separately excited motor. So separately excited motor are very accurate speed giving motor. Moreover, these motors are the best suited where speed variation is required from very low value to high value. And these separately excited motor are used in the steel rolling mills, paper mills, diesel electric propulsion of the ships, etc. Second motor that we are going to discuss, that is shunt motor. So as you as you have already observed the characteristic of the shunt motor, and we have seen that it is almost constant speed motor. Therefore, it is used under the this condition where the speed variation is very less from no load to full load. So that means where constant speed is required, where you can use the shunt motor, and this shunt motor can also be used where it is required to drive the load at various speeds, and various speeds are obtained by speed control method, and any of the speed is required to be maintained almost constant for a relatively long period. So this shunt motor can be used in various machine tools such as lathe machines, drilling machine, milling machine. This shunt motor can also be used in the printing machines, paper machines, centrifugal and reciprocating pump, and blowers and fans, etc. That means where constant speed is required, this shunt motor can be used. Now next motor is, that is series motor. So the characteristic of a series motor is revealed that it is variable speed motor, that is speed is low at high torque and vice versa. Moreover, at light load or no load, the motor attains dangerously high speed, therefore it is employed under the this condition. So this series motor are used where high torque is required at the time of starting to accelerate heavy loads quickly, and this series motor are used where the load is subjected to heavy fluctuation and speed is required to be adjusted automatically. So this series motor can be used in electric trains, diesel electric locomotive, because in case of electric train you require a very high starting torque, and the diesel electric locomotive is also high starting torque is required. In case of crane is also high starting torque is required, that means you can use that series motor. This series motor can also be used in the hoist, trolley cars, trolley buses, rapid transit system and conveyors also. Next is compound motor. The important characteristic of this motor is that the speed falls on heavy loads as in series motor. However, at light loads, the maximum speed is limited to safe value. Therefore, it is used under the following condition where high torque is required at the time of starting and where load may be thrown off suddenly. In this situation, compound motor can be used. Compound motor can also be used where load is subjected to the heavy fluctuation. So if there is a heavy fluctuation are there, in that case you can use the compound motor. And this application of cumulative compound motor are in the elevators, rolling mills, planers, punches, shears. And this differential compound motor can be used where the speed of this motor will increase with increase in the load, which leads to unstable operation. Therefore, we cannot use this motor for any practical application. So in case of compound motor, only cumulative compound motor are generally used for the elevator, rolling mills, planers, punches, shears, etc. So dear learner, in this particular session we have discussed the type of the DC motor, like separately excited DC motor. Then under self-excited DC motor we have discussed series motor, shunt motor, compound motor. Then we have also discussed the different characteristic of the DC motor, and in the detail the different characteristic have been discussed for the shunt motor, series motor and compound motor. Then we have also understood what are the various applications of the series motor, shunt motor and compound motor. Thank you very much.